So this is a back down to earth part 2 video of what I recorded earlier. As soon as I was done recording, I started, I noticed that MJ posted another message video, and as she was talking about it, I was just like, oh, this is what I was feeling, right? That where I was teetering between this level of excitement, this level of feeling special, and because it, even though I didn't use those words, hearing her say it, I was just like, oh my gosh, she's in my head. Because it was true. I mean, it was in my head. I was trying to find the balance, right, of being grounded and being in my power, with making sure that I don't get a big head to where I topple over, you know, like I was saying earlier, because then that is where you risk, yeah, just toppling over, being unbalanced, right? Big ass head of mine. I don't know if to say that, but this big head of mine gets a little too excited, right? So again, another humbling experience of just owning that there's still work to do, that there's still an ego in that, in me. I shouldn't say in that, but in me. And just making sure that I practice payu, right? Just being more mindful about my thoughts, what I say, because of the awareness of the consequences and or possible consequences, and yeah, so just being more mindful, being more grounded, communicating more soundly. You know, I have to remember, and my good friend had shared this with me about he knows more individuals going through this process, and he shared with me how that sense of excitement, right, that sense of awareness, different level of awareness, can cause a lot of emotions in that respect. But at the same time, if we're not careful, it will sway us into one direction where we go back to that teacher role, right? And that's exactly what MJ was referring to as well. She was highlighting it as a reminder. I felt like it was a reminder to me of how careful, you know, I need to be. How careful I need to be with, I guess, how my mind works, right? Being careful to hold these two cards into balance, to make sure that these experiences are balanced. And then she pointed out something else about my twin flame and a change, a shift in the dynamics, right? Because I'm not actively seeking or actively needing, not even energetically, you know, or maybe not, I don't know. I think she nailed it. I think she definitely nailed it, in that I'm in this sense of feeling alone, in this sense of not knowing, and that it was okay to ask for help. And it made me sad. I felt sad. She didn't make me sad. I felt sad. Realizing, right, that I'm going about this just focusing on the mission, focusing on the process at the same time, but the end result. And she pointed out how having my twin around me can could impact the experience in a different way, in a different level. I don't want to be waiting. You know, I've waited a long time. Then I have to remind myself that I had already had that discussion with myself. Camera ran out of battery. So I tried to listen to where I left off about MJ referring to the twin flame. And I mean, it's so bizarre, right? It's like I'm making all of these choices and she's just like she's adjusting, right? Well, not her, but just the message is adjusting based on those choices. And everything she said was so on point, right? I was focusing on the mission as a way to not have to, as a way to let go, as a way to give myself something to focus on aside from my twin. And even though, I mean, that high and the rush from the morning is definitely not there anymore. And when MJ said that it was okay to ask for help, I remembered Christina Lopes talking about the different stages of spiritual awakening. And I remember her saying that there was a stage where there was like emptiness. So I looked it up during the malfunction or the whatever technical difficulties with the battery. And she calls it the void, the in-between of the old self and the new self, where we do feel a sense of being lost, or there's just a lot of anxiety of just not knowing, because there is a sense of being disconnected from, you just feel disconnected. And like, I think I mentioned it, I wasn't seeing a lot of the synchronicities like I didn't see my spirit guides when I meditated. I don't even feel his energy. It's just, it's different than last night. Extremely different. And I'm even having a hard time acknowledging that it was last night. Like, it feels like a distant memory almost. And I just imagine like a candle within me with just a little flame, like how my candles are right now that I have to replace, just flickering little light. And I'm trying to figure out, you know, if that's, is it because it's this whole out of sight, out of mind concept, right? Where it's just not in my forefront anymore. It's no longer, you know, I used to wake up and he was the first thing on my mind, and I'd go to bed last thing on my mind. And now it's, I mean, I guess it's it's like the ghost is still there, obviously, because I'm talking about him, but there's I'm trying to figure out, is it really sadness, or am I just numb? Did I just block it? Did I block myself from experiencing that. So in the middle of the break, while the camera was getting batteries, I signed up for a birth chart reading. Skies of Grace Astrology is the title of her page, with hopes that maybe that'll provide some guidance. But in the meantime, gosh, my battery's gonna die again. I don't know how much time I have left, but in the meantime, I need to remember that it's about the journey, it's about the process, right? That defeating myself, going against what I was saying earlier about that it is about the journey, it's about the process and the transformation that we each individually experience, right? And I need to figure out this true feeling about this individual. Third time's a charm. It has to be. So as I was saying, I'm trying to figure out what my true feelings are about this person. You know, I even tried. I've been signed up for that Bumble thing. Oh my gosh. I signed up for a Bumble app. I remember when online dating and meeting people online was so taboo, and it was just one of those situations where you're just like, what? You met someone online? Give me the address of where you're going to make sure you're not killed or something like that. But it gosh, this was back in graduate school, and I never imagined that I would sign up for something like that, but I did. And I downloaded the app, the Bumble app, and initially it was just to meet people, right? I mean, I haven't shared much about those life-altering moments and really the dark night of the soul that I experienced, which was incredibly intense. I mean, it was just like every day, every week. This month, starting from mid-September, it was just, I mean, I was bawling. I was curled up in a little ball on the floor crying all day. I had to call off work. And the life lessons that I learned. So I signed up for this app and to meet people so that I can practice healthy boundaries. And you know, I feel like I've broken cycles of, you know, past trauma and stuff, and I feel like I don't have many friends. I mean, I do. I know a lot of people. I have a lot of people who care about me. Most of my connections were family, and I had a handful of friends, and you know, we're all in that stage where everyone has kids. I don't have children. So everyone's busy, and so sometimes it feels like I don't have friends. Okay. that's why it's still my old self talking. But so I figured, oh, I'll start meeting people. So a few days ago, I was having another intense moment regarding my twin flame, and I was just getting so upset and so angry, and I was just like, I'm just gonna sign up for a relationship. You know, switch that little tab over. So it was an attempt to distract myself in a different way. And I came across someone, I kid you not, my heart fluttered. I've never used that word. My heart fluttered. It literally felt like a butterfly, like, and it was really brief. And when I saw his picture, And there was something familiar. There was something familiar. And I started reading, profile. A lot of similarities. A lot of similarities with my twin interests. So I guess Bumble, the girl makes the first move. So took a chance. And yeah, he responded. So we were chatting, and he seemed so sweet, a lot of flattery, and it didn't seem like he was afraid to show his emotions. So that was refreshing, very refreshing. And the possibility of something else was there. The possibility of a path that I had heard would be a possible path earlier in the month, and a part of me not wanting to accept it, but the possibility was there. And then I started talking about the mission. Just kind of hyper-focused. So again, I'm trying to figure out if if the feelings are still there, if it's really, it doesn't feel that strong though. That's the thing. It doesn't feel the same. So as the camera was charging again, I went outside for a bit. I brought my succulent inside. Her name's Bella, by the way. I brought her inside, and I stood out there for a moment, and it was so fresh and crisp, and you could just taste the fall. And I immediately thought of this individual, wondering where he was, remembering how much he enjoyed the fall, how much we both enjoyed the fall. I still enjoy it. And I contemplated reaching out. I had told myself I wasn't going to. And it was coming from a space of pain and hurt, from this old belief that I wasn't enough, that I wasn't wanted. And I told myself, I'm not going to reach out anymore. Why am I going to chase? I feel like I've been doing that my whole life, right? Chasing for what I want. And I said it out loud. I spoke it into existence out of pain and anger, that this individual had to come to me when he was ready, because I know what I know, and I was okay with that, and I was accepting of this process, whereas I didn't get the sense that this person was in the same place. And then I remember this person telling me once that he saw that fighter in me, something like that. And he just told me to not stop fighting for what I wanted. To not stop fighting for what I wanted. And I don't feel his energy anymore, not as strong. At least in the silence, I don't feel it as strong. And I just wanted to know that he was gonna be okay. Just that he was okay. And I wanted to let him know that he was free, you know? That there was no expectations, just he was free to be who he wanted to be. And I know I shared before that I did that, but that was energetically. That was like energetically. So I reached out. I sent a text. And it was one of those texts where it was just like, hey, I hope you're doing well. Please don't feel the need to respond. I just want, to make sure you're okay, and wanted to let him know there was no expectation. He was free to go, do what he wanted to do. And I shared my experience about going outside and feeling the fall breeze, And he responded back. He said, well, that's interesting. And then shared that he had gone outside for a walk and he really enjoyed it, and that he would be lying if he said he didn't think of me then. And then he said, maybe it's that energy you're talking about. And I responded back, maybe. And I kid you not, I started seeing the 616, 717, the balance again, the numbers. And then he responded back asking me how I was doing, if I was settled in. And I put a smiley face and responded back, for now. For now I am. I'm good, I'm settled. And that was it. I feel at peace. I do. I really do. And I was looking at these again. And it just seems like they're just waiting. They're just waiting. And I looked this sign up also, and it stood for I don't know, the earth element. It represents divine feminine, earth, nourishment, endurance, the body. It's used in rituals for money and fertility. I literally imagined him with a coat walking down the city, the streets. I'm ready to get outside of these four walls. You know how I mentioned I had that pain back here? It kind of came back, but in a different way, and instead it's now just kind of radiating all over my body, like a lot of tingling sensations. And I'm gonna roll my body in a little bit to see if that helps, and I'm just gonna send Sean a text to see if he has any openings for tomorrow. Tomorrow evening, so I can swing by and get a massage, and because my body just feels a little worn. And during the break, technical difficulty break, I was trying to think of what I was gonna call this YouTube diary channel thing, and so I started using the tarot to see if maybe I would get inspiration, you know, just asking for a card. What would I call it? What do I call it? What do I call this channel? And a bunch of cards came out this time. So I put them back. I'm like, no, I just want one. I just want one, you know, just give me an inspiration. I'm looking around my room, like just trying to see if anything resonates, that my creative mind, because I still have that creative piece, and I'm craving for it again. It's not the same level as that first video I made, but it's definitely awakened that part of myself. And so I shuffled again. More cards came out. And then I just held them and I'm like, okay. And I tried to set them up like MJ had them, and I don't know. I mean, I know she starts off with one card here, and then she does the 3, 3, 3, and then another card on the side. And I have it on the bedspread. I'll show you. I haven't really sat down to think about it or break it down, but I think that's how I'm gonna end this chapter. All of these videos will be part of chapter 1, being in it. But I'll end with that so you guys can see what it looks like, and I guess we'll see what chapter 2 holds. If it's, I don't know. There's this unknowing of what this next chapter is gonna hold. I know I'm not done. I need to organize, right? I need to slow down and just organize all this information that I just kind of swallowed in a short amount of time. But I do see myself traveling. I do see myself interviewing people. I realized I didn't know my aunt. I have an aunt that is very much tapped into Buddhist traditions and concepts. So I connected with her actually at the funeral, and so I will be reaching out to her to get some feedback. And I came across a YouTube TED Talk of a researcher at Columbia University. They actually have a field of study incorporating spirituality and education or mental health, I think. Her name is Lisa Miller. Her TED Talk was about 6 years ago. So a lot of interviews, reaching out, doing more research, learning, seeing where this path takes me. I'm excited. In a peaceful way excited. Like just, yeah. It feels good. I feel good. Emotionally. I feel grounded. I feel grounded. And I wonder if I've embraced that Taurus side. You know? Alright. I'll show you guys and then we'll end there.